For those who don't know, cancel culture is where people take it upon themselves to rally, normally on social media, in order to get someone cancelled. And by that means basically ruining their life, ruining their reputation, ruining their business. And this is so transparent, so visible in a story that was in the papers today about a pub landlord who made a joke. Yes, if we take out all the sensationalising, take out all the offence, all the exaggeration, all the won't somebody think of the children, that's exactly what we're talking about here. We are talking about someone who made a joke, who is now under attack, and whose business is now under attack because they made a joke. So what exactly happened? Well, a guy who's a landlord in a pub somewhere near Bradford, I won't give the pub name away or whatever because I don't want to exaggerate this situation for him, made a joke about basically centred around the free school meals debate we're having here in the UK at the moment. And he just put, please feel welcome to bring your starving, maggot-infested, lice-riddled kids to the jam sandwich workshop in operation throughout half term. Is that funny? I don't know. Is that funny? It doesn't strike me as massively humorous, but that isn't the point. Whether or not that joke is funny is not the point. It is clearly a joke. This guy has not done anything to harm any children. Whether or not you believe that joke is humorous, whether you think it's offensive, it doesn't matter. The reaction has been terrible. This has been covered in both local and national press. And now if you go on social media at his business, he's being inundated with abuse. He's being inundated with fake reviews, basically slandering him. He's now down to a 1-point-something star rating on Facebook reviews. Same's happening now with Google reviews, Trustpilot, all the rest of it. People going out of their way to ruin this guy's business, basically to ruin this guy's livelihood. And over what? Over a joke. Now, by all means, you can be offended at a joke. But that doesn't give you the right to act 10 times worse in actually trying to cause actual harm to this guy's business and to his life. If you don't like the joke, that's fine. Don't like the joke. Don't click the like button. Don't share it. Don't repeat it. Or don't go and use his business. If you really feel that strongly about it, then don't go and visit his pub. But it doesn't give you the right to falsely review the business. So many reviews saying, oh, there was maggots in the food or whatever. This is a guy's livelihood. This is someone who's probably actually been through quite a hard time recently. We know that during this pandemic, a lot of the hardest hit businesses have been hospitality businesses. So maybe he's had a bit of a hard time of it recently. Maybe he's had to lay off staff. Maybe he's had to make personal sacrifices. So yes, maybe the joke was maybe ill-informed. I'm not going to in this video give my opinion on the free school meal situation. The only one bit of opinion I will give is that it is perfectly acceptable to have differing opinions on it. It doesn't make you a good person to support the movement. It doesn't make you a bad person to maybe object to it or to express criticism about it, providing that your opinions have some sort of basis, some sort of common sense, some sort of logic to back them up. And it certainly doesn't entitle people to attack your business and to attack you personally because you had expressed an opinion, and in this instance it wasn't even an opinion, it was a joke. It was clearly a joke, and a joke is made to make people laugh, and this is something that we seem to have lost substantially in this country and across a lot of the Western world. Joking has become only acceptable if it follows a set pattern. And I speak here for my sins as a straight white Westerner, and a male at that. How dare I talk about jokes and about humour and about offence? What would I know? Well, I know a joke when I see one. I know a joke, is a joke. And a joke is, if it's aimed purely to cause offence, then maybe we've got a problem. If the primary purpose of a joke is to make people laugh, then we don't have an issue. Now, people who have seen this joke, have seen this post in its original format, will have been people who follow this guy and his pub on Facebook. These are people who probably understand the place. They understand the guy. They understand the landlord. They understand his humour. And you can tell this by the reaction on the original Facebook post. There's a lot of the laughy face emojis, a lot of likes and what have you. But what's happened is one person has somehow seen this, thought, oh, I'm offended. And they've run to the press. It's now blown out of all proportion. The guy's been inundated with hate. His business has been inundated with his false, fake reviews. And will he recover from this? I don't know. It only takes one idiot. It takes one vigilante moron who thinks that off the back of maybe a misplaced, maybe an ill-timed joke, it's then, within his right to go and be violent, to be aggressive, to cause physical damage to either this guy or to his business. And this is where we are in this country now. We're at a place where someone can say something, maybe at the spur of the moment. Maybe it's something that his regulars, something that people who follow the page, people who like the page, people who go to his pub would find humorous. Maybe they understand his sense of humour. And because of that, they would like and appreciate that joke. It's maybe not intended for everyone in the country to read. And look, I'm not saying it was funny. It wouldn't have made me laugh if I'd seen it pop up on my feed. But it's quite clear from the context, it's quite clear from the wording, that although it's offensive, it wasn't meant purely to cause offence. It was meant to make people laugh, to make people smile, to maybe give a dark, humorous edge to what is an issue here in the UK at the moment. And let's face it, we're not short of issues here in the UK at the moment. If we get to a point where we can only joke and laugh about a pre-listed, pre-agreed list of fair game targets, of which I guarantee I would be one, then that's the death of humour. It becomes stagnant, it becomes formulaic, it becomes something that will only cater to people who... And this is the problem, is it won't even cater to a group of people who find it funny. It will cater to a group of people who have been conditioned, who have been told to find it funny. You slag off a gammon, and in case you don't know what a gammon is, it's probably someone not unlike myself, a middle-aged guy who's maybe got a bit of a red face and a bit overweight and holds maybe slightly right of centre opinions. You make a joke about them, everyone will laugh. You make a joke about a minority or a gay guy, or you make a joke about anyone who's not on the pre-agreed list of targets for humour, and you will find this mob, this hate mob, run after you. They'll be after you. They'll be after your career. They'll be after your mental health. They will be after your well-being, and a lot of them, unfortunately, will also be after you physically. And that's just, the reaction becomes far, far greater, far more overblown and exaggerated than the original problem. Now, I don't mind being the butt of a joke, because I understand it's a joke. And I understand that maybe people do get offended by jokes, but bear in mind, right, it's important to remember that being offended is just that. Being offended doesn't give you the right to act in a way that is harmful to someone else. If you want to make a counter joke, if you want to say something that is intended to be funny in the opposite way, then maybe that's an acceptable response. But to meet a joke with hate, with persecution, and with an attempt to ruin someone's livelihood, to ruin someone's business, and with threats, as we've actually seen in response to this, someone actually said, well, whatever happened to his pub now is down to him. That, I think we can agree, is a threat against this man's livelihood, this man's business, and presuming that he lives there with his family, possibly against his physical well-being. We just need to stop being conditioned to be offended by stuff. We need to be able to make up our own minds. We need to be able to, actually read something and interpret it for ourselves, not be preconditioned to be offended by something, not be preconditioned to go after someone because someone's told you that something's offensive. We need to ignore the word outrage in the national press, in the mainstream media. We need to make up our own minds as to whether we're outraged, whether we're offended. And if we're offended, we need to accept that being offended is just that, it's being offended. You haven't been harmed. No one's gone out of their way to harm you. They've gone out of their way to express opinion, to tell a joke, and to give their commentary on something maybe. You have every right to be offended, but you don't have every right to act on it like an absolute arsehole. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.